Right, so in this session we're going to be using the Roy Lichtenstein style of producing an image to produce a picture based upon a school subject. So it's going to be a whole collection of images related to a certain school subject put together in a picture. Last session you jotted down images related to 3 different school subjects, and what I'm going to be asking you to do today is to choose one of those subjects and turn it into an overall picture where the images are all going to be overlapping. And just to give you some idea as to the sort of thing I'm talking about, we've got that picture there. That's one sketch that I've come up with, whereby obviously we've got the name of the subject, and then we've got these images in the background all layered one on top of each other. Now I'm going to be asking you to do 2 sketches, because again, as it was with putting down the images for different subjects, you're giving yourself a choice. And that's a big thing in GCSE. You've got to show the examiner that you've tried out different ideas before you come up with a final solution. So I want you to come up with another one. Remember, this is just a sketch. It doesn't have to be super tidy, but it does have to show what you're thinking. So if we've got to do 2, you change things around a little bit. So as an example, where I've got the maths coming down here, on this one I think I'm going to take it so it's going to go straight across. I'm also not going to have the letters overlapping. So I'm going to do them individually, just like that. Now I'm doing that straight off. Some of you might find that a little bit tricky, particularly with something like an S. So some of you might want to just very lightly sort of sketch the shape out first of all before you're happy with it. And when you're happy with it, then you can go over it darker. Something like that. Okay, to get that sort of image there. Right, so we've got the name of the subject. Now for the different shapes. Quite like the way that that division sign is going across there. So I'm actually going to do that the same on this one. And it's going to go behind the maths lettering so that when it hits the letters, it becomes hidden. And we'll have a circle up here. Again, it's a sketch, so these circles don't have to be perfect. Something like that. I think I'll put the division sign up there. Have that going straight to the top there, actually. Oops, bit fat there, doesn't matter. We can always change that later on. And you know what, I'm going to put I'm pretty sure this is called a set square. I'm going to have it going up here. What I'm going to do this time as well is with the shapes, I'm going to overlap them. Here I kept them all solid, so when they went over you couldn't see the other shape through it. But I think this time with this one I'm going to overlap them, and you'll see why in a few minutes time. I like the bar graph there, so I'm going to again do that. And what I'm not doing is overlapping it on the actual name of the subject. So I'm just going to go something like that there. Let's take one back up there. And then we can have that coming down there. Something like that. I think we'll put a massive plus sign in here as well at the back here. So you can see here, what you're doing is you are putting these shapes in, and in effect you're creating lots of other shapes by having them overlapping, and lots of other shapes that you can put the decoration in. Something like that. And then you know what to finish off. I'm going to do, you know how when they plot a graph you get like a wavy line coming through it. I'm going to do something like that. So that, have that coming, whoops, around there, down, through there. We'll give it a thickness. It's going to work a lot better if it's thicker. So that coming down to there. So that, I think I've got plenty in there now to add my decoration. And what I want you to do, I then want you to think about, right, what we're going to have where. Obviously, dots can be put in here somewhere, you know, so as an example, you might want dots put in somewhere like that. Okay. What I'm going to do though is wherever a shape overlaps, I'm then going to change the pattern. So we can have diagonal lines there. If you remember, those were two of the basic ways. The other way was filling solid blocks of colour. Try and make it a bit more personal though. You might want to do parallel wavy lines. Something like that. So there, what you're doing is you are emulating the style of Liechtenstein, but you're making it more your own. Okay, inside here, we've got dots there. Who's to say you can't have triangles? You know, something like that. Still regularly spaced, not just random triangles, regularly spaced in there, but you're just using that to fill in the design. And of course you can repeat things. You could do it, you know, you've got small dots there, so we might want to put some bigger dots here. Okay, so basically what I'm going to be asking you to do is to come up with two ideas which you're then going to put in your pattern designs, and also if you have time you can also start thinking about what colours you would like to use as well. Just get pencil crayon. In your final one, your final image, you're going to have a choice of what to use. You know, it could be pencil crayon, it could be paint, it could be felt tip. That's going to be totally up to you with your choice. But as we're just doing a quick sketch, again, it doesn't have to be neat and tidy. We can just use crayon to add the decoration. Okay, so by the end of it, you'll end up with two images, one of which you will decide to do as your main picture. Okay, let's see what you can do.